understand it's all a plan. As a man, I can't give in. Nevertheless, I'm going on and on. I've been thinking, yes, I understand it's all a plan. As a man, I can't give in. Nevertheless, I'm going on and on. I've been thinking maybe I deserve it. Maybe I do. I deserve it. Maybe I do. Maybe I've been feeling like the motherfucking man. I deserve it. Maybe I do. Maybe I do. I deserve it. Maybe I've been feeling like the motherfucking man. You know what I mean? But yo, what's up, world? Thank you again for tuning in to the Off Top Pod, where we discuss Black Thought off top, no hezzy, no remorse. It's your boy 100 Miles, and I got my boy Tyler Jensen, aka Tesla. Tesla, man. Hey, I still love that name, bro.
Bro, me too.
Like,
me too.
I love that name because the allure around
Nikola Tesla.
Yeah, Nikola Tesla. Because do you know what they did to him? Like, I'm not like the brainiac who could tell you everything, but I done went down enough rabbit holes to basically, when it comes to electricity, they give you was Edison?
Thomas Edison.
But
yeah.
he actually like stole the shits from him, and he did something different with it. You know what I mean?
That's the thing about Nikola Tesla, because I know exactly what you talk about, and that's kind of why
they murked that nigga, dog.
Well, he
took all his shit.
They basically took it, but he kind of volunteered it in a way.
Yeah,
because
I mean, of course,
if he didn't kind of basically volunteer his share in the company, they probably wouldn't have been able to finally see it all the way through to completion.
Right.
But also, he should have tried to negotiate. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, he wouldn't know it. Think about the time.
He would have been.
You thinking you just trying to help the planet, but you may not be aware of the fucking veil of secrecy that goes up from the holders.
The business shit. Side of things. Like he was thinking scientist. He thought like an artist. You know what I'm saying? So he was, along those lines versus like being a businessman. Thomas Edison, businessman. You know what I'm saying? So. Yeah. He got exploited, you know what I mean? But, I mean, he's still a genius, one of the greatest of all time.
Yo, man, shout out to NT, man.
So, it was crazy. It's like, it was either going to be Tyler Tesla or it's going to be Tyler Tycoon.
Both of them is fire.
Yeah.
Because Tesla sounds more like meticulous and thoughtful.
Yeah.
Tycoon sound like I be fucking up whatever you see me holding in my hand, which is, I know that bass, you be fucking that bass up. So Tyler Tycoon would have been, I would have been in the crowd like, Tycoon. Like you would have heard me dropping that shit, like for real.
Man. Yeah.
For real, man.
Them was the two. But
it's good to see you, man, once again.
Yes, sir.
We back on the show, man, off top, figuring this thing out. We're going to get this love out to y'all and spread it across the planet via the airwaves and the internet waves and see if we can help lift some people or at least just entertain y'all for a minute while we here. Y'all know what it is.
Right.
Today, this is episode 6?
Number 6.
Episode 6, man. So I can't wait to get these out to y'all. As you guys will probably see by the time you guys are checking the full episodes out, we're going to drop them all together and just kind of basically create like a power pack, you know what I mean, for those who want that knowledge and that time that we're giving, the space and time that we're giving. And I just want to thank y'all for rocking with us, whoever's out there, all 13 of y'all,
13,
or all 30,000 or 60 million. I got to make sure I can think in that kind of direction too. You can't limit yourself.
You got to think big.
I do. I suck at that. I was about to say it in a better way, but nah. I suck at not thinking granular.
Mm-hmm.
I'm still a product of my environment, and I still think sometimes of not just being comfortable, because I'm not a complainer.
Right.
Like my wife is completely opposite. She see the future and she's like, we getting that motherfucker. Like she's like that. And I'm a country boy, so I'm more like, that'd be dope. But if we don't, you know what I mean? I'm enjoy life. I'm just kind of like that. But she always poked me like, no, nigga, think bigger. Like, you know what I mean? Like you can have that and be like that. All that can be true. And I'm like, you're right. You're right. You're right. You know what I mean? So shout out to wifey for the affirmations and shit, because we need it. We need it because sometimes I get lost in my ways, and that won't add to you. You might keep the same shit, but she be like, nah, nigga, we about to do all this. We about to have all of this. We
about to have it all.
Yeah, so
you can have it all.
Shout out to her, man. How you been feeling, man? What's going on in your world right now, man? What state are you in, bruh?
Man, so I've been like crazy busy.
Word.
And realizing I still need to rest, and been realizing that I'm finishing the year how I want to finish it.
Word.
And that's a good feeling. And that being setting up next year by way of finishing this year in a very positive way, in a very interesting way. Still getting outside my comfort zone. Right. You know what I mean? Right. Whereas I feel like I kind of made that move somewhere between the middle of the year, starting this podcast and what have you, linking up with you, and I'm continuing down this outside my comfort zone path. So
bro, you are good at this shit.
Feeling good at it. So
you are good at this shit. You need to know. Like
I feel good about it.
I know you say you out your comfort zone, but it's looking like this has been your comfort zone, or a piece of purpose within your comfort zone has expanded.
Yeah.
Because I know you, and I know when you're comfortable as well, and you are exuding the same energy with this as when we sitting at the crib and we coming up with something and you on your shits. I'm like, yo, I need to put some bass on this, or you know what I mean? So I know just from being around you enough, like, yeah, I just got to tell you though, and that in turn sharpens me because like I'm so used to, not gonna say dragging people along with new ideas and shit, but a lot of my life, it's me that be like, yo, hey, yo, what if, like, I'm just always been like that, you know? And some people kind of reluctantly be like, all right, man. Then they be like, midway through, they be like, man, that was kind of dope. So I'm like, okay, I ain't crazy, but I be just kind of, and in this situation, I don't feel like it's been like that. We've been equally just bringing shit to the table, and that feels crazy to me because I'm like, in my head, I'm like, I think this nigga's enjoying this as much as me, and and for the first time, that feels good because it's usually myself that, especially when creative shits, I just kind of feel alone with or more into than other people until some kind of success happens. And for us, this is what lets me know that your intentions are in the right place, in the same place as mine, because we're not dropping this every single week. The whole thing, we're compiling it. Right. And every time we've been compiling it, you've been just excited as me about the shit, which is dope. You know what I mean? So shout out to you for that, bro.
Man, shout out to you, man.
For real. We got a couple different things to talk about. We're gonna talk about the light shit first and make sure that people know we on Earth too. We with y'all. You know what I mean? So like, we got a few things on the list here. Let's start off with first of all, it's December, and we just seen the Lakers win the first in-season tournament.
Yep.
IST.
Yep.
In-season tournament. Okay, I had to make sure I don't sound so stupid as hell. All right. So like, first of all, shout out to the Lake Show. Yeah. But right now, niggas is basically saying it don't mean shit. It just kind of whack. But at the same time, in December, if you watch them games, we was lit in December for the first time in the NBA in I don't know how long. That really don't even happen. You know what I'm saying? So it was like playoff atmosphere. Shout out to LeBron for winning it first. I don't see how he got the MVP.
I was a little curious about that too.
Narratives. It should have been AD. He had an AD ass game. He had a Pelicans AD game.
Yeah,
remember you used to look at the fucking Sports Center and be like, God damn, 43 and 22 and fucking 9? How the fuck? But they lost or something like.
But I feel like they gave it to LeBron just because he was playing really good every single game.
He did,
too.
And you're right when it comes to the entire
AD's been a little streaky.
Tournament.
Yeah,
and y'all, you absolutely right. The entire tournament, he would have been the MVP for sure, and I guess that's why they did it. It just the granular kind of spectacle that they created with the championship game kind of makes you focus on the championship game. So anything MVP related, you think about that, and especially when somebody in the championship game dropped 40 plus.
Exactly.
And like you be like, oh, that nigga's that he the nigga, he the one. but you're right when it comes down to the overall shit, man. I just think that's a good shout out to Adam Silver. for
coming up with that, and
yeah, he genius for that, man. Tinfoil hat on. I don't believe he is human.
okay.
Just like I don't believe in Mark Zuckerberg either. I would have to fucking sit with these motherfuckers for 24 hours and just watch them. Like, okay, he used the bathroom. Okay, he drank water. He ate food. All right. I don't believe these motherfuckers is real. And I don't know. Tinfoil hat is on. Like, I'm just saying. Adam just seems like, where the fuck did he come from? He got this poise about him that's just strange to me for this white man in a league full of niggas. Like David Stern, this is about to sound fucked up, but David Stern basically had the kind of, I own this shit, nigga. Like Adam don't really come off like that, but you can tell that he does. Like
he's a little younger too. He's a little younger. But also, I think he was kind of groomed to it because I feel like for that position, you don't just get to show up. Like you kind of have to have been around.
Right.
And I know
I don't know nothing about him. I don't know nothing about him. I didn't do a deep dive into him either, so my tinfoil hat take is just surface level.
I felt like I heard a couple things about him kind of being groomed to it. Like he definitely didn't just come out of nowhere. Word. You know what I'm saying? Like he was already around, and then, David Stern vacated the position and he got it. So.
I guess like him and Mark Zuckerberg, because I think for me personally, show me some pictures when you wasn't this shit. Show me some shits where you were just like, he's in college with his buddy and they're fucking doing beer pong. Like show me some regular shit. And I'm like, okay, he grew up. But when they don't got nothing on the internet that show anything except for this.
Interesting, right?
Like that shit is different to me.
I feel like, well, I won't say I feel like it's intentional, but that's kind of intentional
but
too.
But how in this day and age? How in this day and age? Well, intentionality with being like vague and kind of like mystical was it probably fell off, I would say, going into the early 2000s because of the internet age. So like, how the fuck? I mean, niggas is getting ousted for touching a bitch's leg in 94 now.
True.
So like, how can you just create that?
Well, I think like at a certain amount of money, because a friend of mine was telling me about umbrella insurance. And basically, it's where you have to have a certain level of money, but it covers you getting sued no matter what they're suing you for. Like, no matter what it is.
Umbrella?
It's umbrella insurance. I think that's what he called it. I could have the wrong term.
I mean, that sounds right, though. That's but like, shit happening, not me, nigga.
It's like some insurance that most people would never hear about. You'd have to like literally be a billionaire, millionaire to even have to get this type of insurance. You know what I'm saying?
They come in there, open that briefcase on you like, so we're going to offer you something.
It's the same thing with like the Forbes list. Like the richest people do not want to be on Forbes.
It becomes a target.
Exactly. So it's like the same thing with social media. I heard the same thing with like Wikipedia pages. Like certain people like paying or having some type of setup where they don't have a Wikipedia page. You can't make one. So it's like
let me make my money.
There's a certain level of money where you don't deal with stuff you don't want to deal with.
Damn. I mean,
you know what I mean?
Ideally, yeah.
It's crazy. But Mark Zuckerberg, he owns Facebook and social media. Like he's been through the whole trajectory of what Facebook was and what it is now. You know what I'm saying? So this man easily has some power outside of that where it's like, no, you're not gonna know nothing about me.
Do you think that there's a certain oh my God, I keep putting this hat on, this shiny ass hat on my head. Do you think that there's a certain level of money in which you could create a scenario if you had to disappear to where it's valid in the social world and not valid in yours due to complete necessity of you needing to disappear?
I think you could, but I think it'd be hard to keep it that way.
Do you think it'd be hard to keep it that way if you were a billionaire? I mean, just think of different things that they could do if you're a billionaire. Like I ain't gonna deep dive too crazy, but like I think about Epstein. And I just like, yo, if I was a billionaire and I did terrible, diabolical shit like that, I definitely would have thought about, or at least hired people to think about if this shit hits the fan.
Right.
Contingency plans and all this shit. I mean, we talking about white men. So I just think about like if worst case, like it should be. They probably got a phrase for it in their world. A phrase like a red button, nuke button, or something like that. You know how they are. But like, I would think that they would be like, all right, if they find out how diabolical I am or the bullshit I'm doing, I'll just hit the button, have a fire, get a body from the morgue or something crazy, and say it was me, and now I'm out the fucking way. Period. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I don't think that's it's conspiracy led. It sounds as it sounds. I don't think that's crazy because of the way white men rule the world. Like, I don't think it's crazy. We done seen a lot of crazier shit with people that's alive doing shit. So like,
right.
Why wouldn't they? Do you think that that's possible? Is all I'm gonna ask.
I definitely think it's possible.
Word.
Just because I think at a certain level of money, when you get into like government connections and stuff like that, you can do some things that just connections with the government and government officials, and you know what I'm saying, like
spooky shit, man.
Yeah,
spooky shit, dog. I just it's a crazy world out here, man. So I just be thinking about that type of shit. We went from the NBA to Epstein. Wow. All right, let's keep it moving. So. One of the first, like the NBA stuff was just kind of brief. One of the first topics we wanted to get into today was something you came up with, actually, is hello, black men. Hello, everybody out there. We're getting ready to start the pod. My bad.
Man, they already know what it is.
But yeah, is it possible to love yourself too much?
Yeah. Is it possible to love yourself too much?
You wanna take it?
Well, I guess I'll talk about where the thought came from, and then I'll let you answer. Because it seemed like you got an answer ready.
Immediately.
You got one loaded in the chamber.
Yeah, I always do.
I guess I got to thinking along the lines of like self-obsession and being self-indulgent. And if it were possible to actually love yourself too much.
The too much part. Like when I see sentences like this in questions like this, certain things within this question, it says 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 words inside the question, but it's loaded and it made me think about 20 things immediately. I love when that happens, when it's something small that makes me every different directions. And when you say this question, to me, too much, it glows. Like the captions, when you say it glows.
Yeah.
Too much, because that's the scale. The scale is too much. What is too much, and to what extent is too much? Is too much to when it ultimately starts to harm you, or just too much because we just deem it's too much? And I think that answering that is where the shits is. You know what I mean? Because to a fault, is it to a fault, or just love yourself so much that it make other people uncomfortable?
And that's what's interesting, because that's kind of a given. That's what's a lot of people see is like, this person loves they self so much it rubs everybody else the wrong way. You know what I'm saying? Their self-love is like, okay, they're arrogant, they're egocentric. When it's like, no, they just really care about themselves. They really value themselves, but to a fault. And what does it look like when you love yourself so much that it actually is harmful to you?
Narcissism. That's what immediately jumped out to my brain when you posed the question. Is it possible to love yourself too much? In my mind, yes, and then it turns into narcissism completes that basically. Too much means in my mind, loving yourself too much means at the expense of others. In numerous times, like loving yourself too much and then kind of somebody catch a stray from it. It's just kind of like, hey. You know what I mean? That happens. You know what I mean? You need to be more secure with yourself to be like, I took one, but I keep moving. But if it's a continuous dart that starts to hit people everywhere you go, then I believe that then you're led by narcissism. You know what I mean? And that goes good, real good with the next topic you presented, which was ego trips. And all of it is narcissism is basically the main functionality of an ego. That's kind of like accelerated, you know what I'm saying? So like for me, you can love yourself too much if it always lowers others around you. That's when it's too much, in my opinion. I know I've been around narcissistic people who just can't come out of their own shit. You can't even imagine how I would feel about you saying this right now or doing this right now. And that's when you get that blind kind of perspective with no direction. You can't see nothing outside of this right here. Then that's when I believe that it becomes too much, and that's in a negative kind of way.
And that's kind of where my thoughts were also lingering at too, because one of the things that's kind of interesting, you don't really hear of it too much anymore, but people being full of themselves. And that's something that actually used to get said to people sometimes, like, bro, you full of yourself. And it's just like, bro, like, get over yourself.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it is interesting to hear you to go that direction.
When would you say that though to somebody? You would say that after they did something or said something that lowers you.
I would go the sports route when a person thinks they did way better than what they did.
Oh, yeah.
Or a person kind of did a trash job, but in their mind.
Or you blaming everybody else. That's what I'm saying.
You know what I'm saying? It's like you
won't even get no fucking rebounds, nigga. Like, nigga, you had 8 turnovers.
Right, bro. Like, your points came from free throws.
Nigga.
Like, it's, you know what I'm saying? So that just kind of got me thinking. And I guess it really stemmed from the pandemic.
Right.
Because prior to the pandemic, you didn't hear about people. I don't know. I feel like the pandemic, that changed everybody's lives. Everybody's lifestyle had to change according to the pandemic because of what it was, right?
Yeah.
Shelter in place, wearing the masks and all that stuff, loved ones being affected by it. But just from the mental health standpoint, I feel like everybody felt the need to then spoil themselves once the world became open again. Because I had to, I don't want to say self-sacrifice, but because I had to go without luxuries that I'm accustomed to.
I had to minimize myself for an extended amount of time.
I didn't get to love myself with all these products and all these experiences because of this pandemic. Now that the pandemic is over, I need to spoil myself. You know what I'm saying? And spoil myself rotten on top of that.
Rotten as fuck.
Because, I mean, you know, having kids, like.
And they gave us money to do it. They gave us money to do that shit.
The stimulus was available.
They gave us money to do it. Some people still was shaking out that stimulus money. People that was lying, they was spoiling themselves.
PPP loans, man.
You gonna get PPP to prison, nigga? All because you want to buy a motherfucking drop top and rent out motherfucking mansions and shit. Like, I know niggas. I ain't gonna say personally that allegedly. I know niggas that allegedly done ran it up like $250,000, bro. $250,000, and them niggas are still free. So, who won? Because if I was a $250,000 nigga, life would be a lot different. But so what do you mean when you say ego trips? What were you speaking on?
Well, the last episode we definitely talked about, what was it, pride? Or ego, and dealing with being men and having to deal with being too confident or too humble and all that. So I guess I personally ended up going on an ego trip a couple of years back, and I had to check myself.
What was your ego trip like? Because you're not, to me, like me, nigga. Like, you're not that person. I could, like, if you were like that, I'd be like, what's wrong with Tyler? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
right.
So when you say that, I'm interested in what made you be like, all right, you reel it back, bruh. What made you do that?
So I love that you worded it that way. Like, this is why this works.
Straight up.
I spent some time with my dad, and I'm down there with my dad. My dad is a retired photojournalist, had an amazing career.
Really? Yeah. I didn't know that, bro.
Yeah, I always just told you he was a photographer.
Yeah.
But it was also like a little bit of journalism because you had to write the story of it too, along with the pictures. Right. And back then, it was a big deal to like do videos and small clips, like what we do now, what we're gonna do with these clips. Yeah. Like that was a big deal back then.
Yeah, it takes so much.
Yeah, because everything was analog. Anyways, it's a whole
thing.
Put
that motherfucker in a machine and watch it take it and press play. They had to sit. You can't skip. You got to fast forward.
Yeah,
no, for sure.
It was a different time back then. And so my dad is just showing me all these photos. I'm seeing photos that are from like 50-something years ago, just like all types of stuff. And then I can't remember if it was him or if it was my stepmom, but one of them basically directed me to all of his awards. And he had 13 different awards for being a photojournalist. And I knew it was 13 because I counted them. Like I'm picking them up like 1, 2, 3, and I'm just like, wow, Like it kind of just hit me, and like I felt the pride and the proudness of being the son of someone who's accomplished some things.
Yeah,
you know
I
what
come
I'm
from
saying?
some shit.
I come from some greatness.
Yeah,
like,
I'm from the shits. Hold on.
You know what I mean? Like I kind of have the right to.
That's why I'm cold as a motherfucker.
Like this ain't by accident. It's like I didn't need the extra. I didn't need that extra boost.
Right.
But that extra boost is like I had to take a step back because I was down in Mississippi and I was about to come back up here to the capital city to Lansing. Like, bruh, y'all don't even know. Like I really am that dude.
Hey man, I'm greatness, nigga.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Because one of my favorite quotes, and this is kind of, it goes to, you know, what he's done, what I feel like I've been able to do yourself, is bloom where you're planted at. Bloom where you're planted at. I love this quote because, you know, graduating from high school, some of your friends went away to college. Some people stayed local. You know what I'm saying? Everybody went in their own different directions according to whatever their interests were.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You're a football player. You want to go to a really good school, yada, yada, yada. And I think it's been interesting to see people that didn't necessarily have to relocate to have success in whatever it was they were pursuing.
Right.
And I'm like, I'm looking at my dad. I'm like, no, he hasn't, you know, made it into, I guess, whatever photography magazines there are out there for awards and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? But I'm like, but in the area that he was planted at, he thrived and retired. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's retired now. He chilling.
That's lit. No,
so
that's
I'm like,
lit. I gotta meet him, bro.
We gonna set that up.
I would love to meet him, bro.
Because I'm gonna drive down there next time.
I would ride. I would ride.
It's just gonna be a whole day, but they got a big old house, plenty of room.
I would though.
Because you'll love that stuff, bro.
You can cut this out too. What city again?
Jackson.
That ain't too far from my peoples though, bro. That's like 30 minutes away.
Yeah. So I'm driving down there next year. I was gonna drive down there in November.
Bro, I'm going, bro.
But
straight up,
I'm making that drive, and then
we can split the gas, nigga. We out here.
We can split the drive time, man. Like that, I make it in, split it in half.
Yeah, man. You know, shit. You got the. Damn, we going off topic, but you got.
Whatever.
You got the shit.
It's off top.
This our shit, nigga. Fuck y'all want to go? No, but no, like I'm gonna bring the cam. We could document the trip. Ooh, we could do a whole. Man, we put that shit up in the dash and do the podcast in Mississippi. You know what I'm saying? That's fire, bro.
We do an episode on the way down there.
You see what I mean? And on the way back. You know what I'm saying?
That'd be dope. That'd be different.
Look, that's what I'm talking about. I'm like, nigga, what if we nigga?
Right. Season 2 gonna start in Mississippi.
That'd be crazy, bro. Yeah, man.
That'd be dope.
Ooh, man.
But no, that just, I felt empowered. That's the word.
So how did that lead you to telling yourself you got to chill out?
Because one, I was already rejuvenated because I went down there, I was exhausted. Like I was doing the most and needed to just like recover, just rest. And down there, like they just take care of me. I ain't got to do nothing. I'm chilling.
Trying to get there.
You know what I mean?
That's real family though. That's how it should be.
Love it, man.
That's how it should be. You hungry? We about to eat. Yeah. And next thing you know, you good. You know what I mean? Life is life.
Bruh, I ain't have to. I felt like a little kid. Like I felt like a child. You know what I'm saying? Where it's like you worry about, you just show up. Just be here.
Just be.
You know what I mean? Just exist. So I loved it down there and just felt empowered. And I'm like, bruh, wait a minute. Like, because I realized like people will like you for being confident, but people will love you for being humble. And I realized like people love me for being humble. So I can't just, even though it's my father, even though he's done great things, I can't just come back on some I'm better than the world.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I still have to show up as who and what I've been.
But you know, you wouldn't be able to sustain it.
So true.
And that's where people get exposed. The exposure comes like in patterns. Like everything to me, and the way I see things, everything is patterns. That's just patterns, and that's like who you are, your patterns and shit like that. So if you just start coloring outside the edges and shit like that out the blue and start pressing all hard, we'll be like, yo.
Right.
That ain't even your steez, you know what I'm saying? It wouldn't. I don't think it'd be able to last that long, and that's when we get exposed because we basically, and that make people like, what's that? It made people like, what is the anomaly? You know what I'm saying? Immediately, and unless you're like that, like if you're like that, your pictures would always look rigid. They would always look big, blotchy. You know what I mean? The way I'm trying to, you understand. But like it's just like that though. And I don't myself, I don't vibrate on a frequency that's like rigid like that either. It's only for like defensive measures or self-security, self-sustainability. It's the only time I would kind of do something extra out the lines. But I think that's interesting because when I think about one of my own ego trips is I think about the shadow work I've been doing the last few years. I think the process is interesting coming from where I come from. Come from a small city, Jackson, Michigan. It's just so small, and what I seen on TV is what I thought I was. The niggas, the people that look like me, I thought I was that completely. So I found a spot within that room that I feel like I should sit, not knowing that you could sit in any room. But you go when you come from a certain kind of place, they tell you these are the 3 rooms, and you go find one of them rooms, and you get to sit down, and you grow from that room, like you were talking about. You blossom from that room, but sometimes we built to live outside the vase. Mm-hmm. Sometimes we're not supposed to be on nobody's table in the house. Sometimes we're supposed to be in the soil in South America. Right. Sometimes you're supposed to be where more like you are from. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And if I'm a vase in the room, if I'm one of these plants, then I'm just kind of like here by default. I'm imported, but this ain't where I thrive. You know. Right. And I learned that as I grew older, and within learning that, looking for truth and especially with the traumas that have happened with my life, I had to face certain truths that forced the ego out of me. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? How can you feel this deeply about this and like this, and you do some or say some shit like this? Mm-hmm. Like it made me start doing that more and more. And the more that I started doing shadow work, look that up, y'all. Shadow work. The more I start doing that, the more I start peeling back my layers. Like one of the first thoughts I have of when I really peeled back one of my layers and left that layer on the ground was in college. I always did pictures. I always was creative. But I didn't never monetize it. Back in that time, I didn't know that was my gift, but I always did it anyway. And I was known as the nigga with the cold pictures. I come from the MySpace era, so like and Black Planet and shit. I come from like, visual first. You can go check me out and be like, all right, you know what I mean. And I remember taking so many pictures of myself, trying to make them all look sweet as hell. I remember one day I was in my dorm room and I'm like, let me see all my pictures. I would click my profile. The profile pictures here. You click it, you go in, and you see a thumbnail of all of the profile pictures, and they were all just me as fuck. And it was, I don't even think it was profile pictures. It was a folder. Wow. And at that time, with the new internet, pictures were just pictures. It wasn't posted. It literally be just you. Right. And the way it was just me. It's basically, in my mind, I read it as, this is me looking like this. Now this is me doing this. Oh yeah, this is me when I was like, and the me's from the patterns that I be catching started to just compound in my head, and I was just like, ew. Like I never thought I was the most handsome or sexy nigga on the planet, but you can tell he kind of full of himself. Mm-hmm. Like we was talking about, and I love that I noticed that about myself. Right. Because as soon as I noticed that.
Or somebody having to call you out for it.
Exactly. Yeah. As soon as I noticed that, that's when I started using my gift and pointing my camera at other people. That's where money comes in now. That's from blah, blah, blah. But it all originated from my ego. Yep. It all originated from me being like, motherfucker, I hit you like this. Then I hit you with the ooh, and I had this on. I was with the that. You know what I mean? But once I identified it, I will never forget how I was like, yo, I'm going to start taking pictures of other people. So what I started doing was highlighting my niggas around me. My nigga, he be fresh all the time. Hey, come out, throw that on real quick and come outside with me. We would just go all around campus and next thing you know, they get the uploading. Everybody on campus like, yo, that shit hard. Who did that? My mans. Now they be like, yo, you be. So I'm like, oh shit. Mm-hmm. The same shit I tried to get from myself, you can get by giving it to other people and highlighting them and then making their network talk for you. Right. So it served my ego, but still in a more useful manner. Right. I'm more purposeful. I'm making others feel good. Because of course I can make myself feel good. Right. You know what I mean? So I think that was my eye-opening situation when it came to, like adjusting and identifying like, okay, you need to kind of go a different direction with how you're giving it up. You know what I mean? Right. I think everybody got that. They own. Let's see. I got a couple unique questions, and I don't know if we'll be able to get to all of them, so I'm gonna just look at a couple random ones. Let's see. Reflecting on your experiences, what role has self-compassion played in your mental health journey, and how do you cultivate it in your daily life? What role has self-compassion played in your mental journey?
Self-compassion. What role has that played? For me, I would say forgiveness.
Why forgiveness?
Because I made a lot of mistakes. And back in the day, I would really have a hard time getting over my mistakes. Like, you know what I mean? And I guess it was more so just regret. Like, I used to really struggle with just letting go of regret. And I had to have more.
Was it guilt-based?
Guilt, and then just being smarter than some of the choices I made, I feel like.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
you know your ass know better.
I'm too smart to make those choices. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
But I made that choice anyways. And it's like, I haven't ruined my life or anything like that. But it's like, man, I felt like I could have. There's always that feeling of I could be further along than what I am had I made some different choices. Had I taken some things a little bit more seriously.
Right.
If I had managed my time a little bit better, but I had to have some self-compassion because it's like, man, where you're at the time is just simply where you're at. You know what I mean? And the mistakes that you're making are for where you're at the time. Right. Now, if you keep on making those mistakes for the next 20 years.
Patterns are who you are. That's who you are. That becomes character.
You know what I'm saying? It's where you are.
That's interesting.
And you have to be patient with yourself where you're at and then forgive yourself. You know what I mean? And let those regrets grow, let those regrets go, and keep on moving forward.
Did y'all hear that? What did you get? What did you get from that? I got a lot. Listen, what role has self-compassion played? Self-compassion has played in my life, in my mental health, a negative kind of out perspective.
Self-compassion in a negative way.
Yeah.
What does that look like?
Because I noticed that I didn't have a lot of self-compassion. So when you're blind or lacking self-compassion, what I found out was you cannot have to deal with it, but the lack of, you'll hit a wall. And I hit my wall later after they compiled on me.
Okay.
So it's working and it's healthier now, but for me to identify it, I had to notice the lack of it I had. I felt guilt about a lot of shit that I've done. I felt guilty about a lot of patterns I've recreated over and over, like you, knowing I'm better than this. And I didn't have any self-compassion for myself being human, because I always wanted to lift myself up for my ego telling me I'm you special, you're this, you're that. You know, I had so many stages of this life where I was at one point thought I was that nigga, thought I was that guy. Then I've had other glimpses now where I've like, you are nothing, you're trash actually, and you've been lying, and you're imposter syndrome.
Man, yeah.
So like, I've had all the dualities of that, and now I'm learning that self-compassion, for me, comes in the form of giving myself time to do what I like. As I became an adult, the things that I like to do that frees me and gives me joy weren't valuable to people, to others, to the people around me. But when I look back, that was the reason you fell in love with me. Because if I had enough time to have all of that and do that and then present myself to you, and you attached to it, not knowing that it was by way of that time outside of you. You know what I mean? Yeah. And for me, I didn't have a lot of self-compassion about, just like you said, being like, yo, I can make a mistake. I can suffer from this, but I can fix it. I didn't learn that until later. God bless the person who can learn it earlier. But I also know that if God bless the person for learning that early, something I got on lock, they may be loose with. That's the world. Right. So it's timing is on you. And I learned to enjoy my journey, and I'm starting to learn to embrace my flaws because they all come from somewhere.
Right.
Like I'm a little extra. Like I'm a little extra. I always have been a little extra, but it don't come from nowhere. And I know that my intentions ain't never, like I said, my intentions is never to lower nobody. If I start doing all that, if I start lowering people around me, okay, I need to get checked because that's not my steez. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So having self-compassion has this newly found and used self-compassion is now like a vehicle that I use for everybody else all around me. You know what I'm saying? Like, give yourself some time. Give yourself some space.
Self-compassion being getting to do the things you love. You know, that's really important because you easily take on so much responsibility.
Yeah.
It's so many things that you have to do. It's like, man, what are the things you want to do that are just fun for you to do?
Yeah. No.
You know what I mean? And self-compassion, exactly. That's great.
It's a requirement for it. You have to do it. Like, you know, even if you like silence, alone time, you need it. You cannot deny yourself that and be the you that you love. You cannot deny yourself that and be the you that you love. You need and you require what you need to be the person that you love, or else you won't love yourself. So you got to find that balance in between.
Yeah,
it's just something that's imperative. Like, it is big. And when you throw the extra variable of being black in there, then self-compassion really looks different because we're not starting from the same start point as other motherfuckers around us.
Right.
You know, and motherfuckers is, why are you 11 seconds? You should be 7. Motherfucker, I started from back there, nigga.
Right.
You should be happy I'm here in this motherfucker. But the society won't really necessarily care about that unless you're in a society full of people that look like you.
Right.
You know, and so when the room shrinks, then you can be felt, but that room is so small, it typically ain't heard because it ain't the majority. It ain't the populace. So, but that's I can go a lot of different directions with that. But all right, let's keep going. In the pursuit of personal growth, let me do it in my Keep Lee. In the pursuit of personal growth, can you highlight a specific mindset shift or realization that significantly impacted your overall mental well-being? In the pursuit of personal growth, was there a time that you can highlight a specific mindset or shift or realization that you had that significantly impacted your overall? So was there a like woo moment for you? You know what I mean? That created a mindset shift. And you can incorporate being a creator but
for me, I would say accepting that what I'm doing is enough. That for me kind of, I don't know, because from the standpoint of growth, you always think of like speed, like how fast I'm growing. You know what I'm saying? Or a plant, it's going to take how long to grow. You know what I mean? Or children, you know, a year. Every single year is another birthday. They get taller, a growth spurt. You know what I mean? You always think of speed, but I guess getting older to the point of aging gracefully is more so, when it comes down to growth, is more the pace. And having a steady pace, having a pace that works for you, and I guess running your own race and accepting that what you're doing is enough.
Right. Because
I've kind of been in some spaces where it's like, it's not a matter of how much I'm doing or how little I'm doing. It's the fact that I'm doing it.
Right.
You know what I mean?
I feel similar to that. The specific mindset shift or realization I had came from a musical perspective. And like when I learned, so I came up mimicking a lot of people like we all do. You know, I like them. I like that artist. I'm gonna try to do some stuff like that. Blah blah blah. But I remember there was a point in time where I got tired of not knowing what to write. You know what I mean? This was young in my career, but I just got tired of what do I say next? Because the people that I loved seemed to have an infinite pen. And I didn't like that. I want to be great like that, but my pen is so sporadic.
Right.
And I learned that it's because when there's not whole heart truths coming out of your medium, when it's not a whole heart truth, it needs to be staged, manipulated, planned, processed, filtered. But when it's authentic and it's absolute, you got to basically create like flood barriers. You know what I mean?
You got to create boundaries.
Yeah, you got, because the flow is going to be like it's it's you. If I ask you, why don't you like warm weather? Your body and everything that is you has its own reasons that ain't got nothing to do with nobody else.
Yeah.
So it's easier for you to expound left and right. Blah, 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 blah. Another reason why I remember my dad used to take me down. I used to hate going down there. It'd be fucking out. It's like these are small. Like everybody has a shit. You know what I mean? And I learned that when it comes to music, when I started telling my truth more or choosing a subject that requires truth, then it was less. It was so much more easier to continuously write, to continuously have being told like I ain't never heard that idea or I ain't never heard, because nigga, it's mine wholeheartedly. Now I only got the kind of sporadic pen when I'm thinking like, well, what would the great people say? What would they, when I start doing that? And I learned that shit during, like, I did one song called Back in My Bed. Young Love. Right. It was me going back and forth with my wife to this day. But it was during the first stage of us kind of like being young. We've been together 19 years, fam. So this is like between year 1 and 3. Right. But I wrote a song in my little small city about just, because I wrote a poem first. And I posted it. People was like, yo. And I'm like, yo, like, people keep talking about this. I'm about to make this into a rap song. And I fucking made it. And I was so scared to put it out because it's the first time I told on myself. Like, I wasn't lying. And as a guy, a black man, talking about a woman is usually coming from dominance. It was coming from a space of vulnerability. Right. To where you can tell he's wrapped up in this too. He ain't just like, nah, bitch, you can't fuck with me. I want all the. It wasn't like that. It was more like, yo, she keep landing right back in the same spot with me, but I can't hold on to her. It was a spot of vulnerability. I never forget the response I got from my little bitty ass city, because people knew us and they're like, damn, hey man, that song cold as hell. And I'm looking around like, why everybody like this song so much, nigga? It was because it was the truth. Right. Only to me. So like, that's what I'm talking about. That mindset shift and that realization from that point allowed me. That's what led me to leaving my other aliases, my names. I want to be more authentic. I didn't want to just do fancy, shiny shit no more. And that's what led to the Miles kind of character, you know what I mean? Because I'm like, I want to be known for everything inside of me, not just regurgitating shiny shit. Yeah. That's what I want to be learning. So that was a big thing for me, you know what I'm saying? That realization. Serious. And that's helped my mental well-being, because at the same time, that whole concept can be applied to life now. I have anxiety. I used to be terrified to talk to people out loud. I used to be terrified to speak in front of classes when I was young, a kid. I always had all of this in me. I was more terrified of how I was going to be received. And now I know, because of that realization, it don't matter if it's your truth. You can come up there with fucking Fila Zone, dirty ass sweats, a raggedy t-shirt, but if you say some shit that's real to your heart, the people out there listening, they gonna be like, hey, bro had a holy ass do-rag, but he was giving it up. Right. So now the message is the number one thing, but if I'm worried about everything else, then I'm diluting my message, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. So I just think that was big, though, that kind of realization. I use that shit in my life all the time. Anytime I get scared, I'm like, bro, what do you mean? Even before photo shoots, I still get nervous. Bro, what are your intentions? My intentions is to take good pictures of people that they can last forever. They can love and cherish, because I also know that these pictures are fleeting. Some people be in the pictures one day and gone. Like, when I base myself there, I'm like, man, just go shoot. That helps me alleviate, especially in weddings too, specifically. Yeah. What are your intentions? My intentions is to give them something that they can cherish forever, man. And I'm using my gift. Every time I take a picture, people are like, oh, this is a great picture. This is good. Okay. Well, let me do it for you then. Let me stop thinking about everything else. You know what I'm saying? And that helps me in life. So people out there who may deal with anxieties or certain kind of things that allow them to not be their full capacity, just dumb it down. This is my message to you. Dumb it down and just ask yourself, what are your intentions? I speak that all the time. Your genuine intentions. That shit helps me so much, bro. So yeah. And letting your intentions be authentic. You know what I mean? Being honest with yourself. And having good intentions towards people. Yeah. You know what I mean? Because the world we living in, like, people don't have to be nice. People don't have to be kind. So it's like, it really is. It's starting to become more apparent that it is a choice to have good intentions. Yeah, the honesty combats. You know what I mean? Honesty combats not so good quality. You know, if it's honest, it don't matter. It don't matter where it come from. It could be a child.
Right.
They could have said it broken up with broken English.
Mm-hmm.
If they say, "Mommy, don't cry. You always be pretty to me." Something so simple. It's the person and the timing of the genuine look of the child after you just looked in the mirror and felt terrible or felt ugly or felt and your daughter tell you that you beautiful. Like, you know, it's the time. It don't matter. It ain't gotta be a scientific thesis all put together and shit like that. It could be, you know, so that's why I'm talking about just being that genuine core of it. If it's real, authentic, it'll transfer. It'll do that. And before I forget, hey, this is off topic. This is Stolen Focus. My guy done brought it in, man. He got the book. Man. He got the hard copy right here.
Get the book.
Shout out to Johan Hari. This is we refer to this book a lot within the podcast so far. Stolen Focus, and it's just a really good read, and it allowed me to be able to expound in so many different directions in my own thought about the world around me and society around me. Also, shout out to Jason Wilson, Battle Cry. I ain't read it yet, but my man's told me like, yo, it's a definite. I gotta have it. I gotta make sure I absorb it. I actually had a couple interactions with Mr. Wilson. He's in Detroit, and he has a like a karate studio for kids. It's the Cave of Adullam.
Yeah. Yep.
Like, forgive me if I'm getting it wrong, but this brother right here though, man, this gonna sound crazy as hell, but I'm gonna give it up, bro. I wish I knew niggas like this.
Right.
Like, I don't know where you from, Mr. Wilson. You know what I'm saying?
I think he's from Detroit. Born and raised.
Good. That means if I say the word nigga, he ain't gonna get offended.
Born and raised.
I'm 88, so like this is what it is. You know, I don't mean no ill will, but I wish I knew niggas like that in my world. You know what I mean? Like, and for me specifically, bro, because the physical aspect in which he's accomplished, the physical aspect of life, the physical balancing this with this and this, like. He had that clip that he had with his son. His son was like crying or something like that. Mm-hmm. He had another clip with a boy that he was training a little kid, and he couldn't break the board. Little homie couldn't break the board. And he started crying, and the way that he got down with him, and just let him have the moment, with no pushing and no acceleration of the moment. The way he had the moment, bro. And then he just kind of let him know, like, what are you afraid of? What are you crying for? He made him tell the truth. That shit made the little boy in me feel away because I know that I had all those kind of abilities. I could break boards. I could do all that shit. Sometimes I just got ahead of myself and I killed myself on my own, and I didn't have that masculine energy.
Right.
My dad was there, but my dad's nothing like him, and that's not a bad thing. But I do wish, and this is what my dad may not know, I do wish I had a male influence inside of me that was more tough. My dad was all about love, and that's cool because he came from that different generation. He didn't get that as much, so he wanted to fix it in me. But I'm dope though.
Right. Yeah.
You may not want to go in a room full of men and assert your dominance, but I can. Mm-hmm. The other side in me can, and I didn't really get that cultivated enough from a man. Like, nah, this is hard, but we gonna be here until you do it, and then you're gonna do it and push through it. You know. And I think the splitting of my parents definitely didn't help that.
Right.
Because my dad could have been there probably if he had the allotted time. Mm-hmm. But every time he seen me, it was like, all right, let's just kick it because shit, I ain't see you in a minute.
Yeah.
So you don't get that aspect of the real time aspect. You know what I'm saying? And Jason Wilson, he got these clips online of him teaching these young boys how to be vulnerable, how to be open, how to be strong and masculine without having to squash shit all around them. You know, controlled power.
Yes.
So, like, listen, I ain't going to go too crazy, but shout out to both of these authors because, like, this is amazing content. And I think as black men, definitely two reads that you should check out. You know what I mean? I'm more on the nerd side with shit, so the Stolen Focus for me was crazy because it just talks about just the broadness of where our attention is and how it may be getting stolen from us and ways to combat that, along with Battle Cry. The word cry is in a black man's title.
Right.
We already know he doing work. It's just work. You know what I mean? For you to put cry there means I'm okay with that. And I just love the fact that he could probably beat your ass too. And then be like, now you should cry, nigga. You know what I'm saying? But he wouldn't because it's about control power. Mm-hmm. And as a black man, control of our emotions is probably gold.
Well, it goes back to, some of the things that we had, talked about even prior to, starting the episode, but discipline.
Yeah.
and that is one of the things that he definitely talks about in the book. I read the book came out like 2 years ago, and that's when I bought it. And I read the book, and first and foremost, it is an easy read. So, like, this is the type of book a teenager could pick up. It's not just for people that are his age. He is an older man. We're in our 30s, which is great, but it's for all age ranges. It's an easy read. He's not trying to sound super intellectual about things. It is a very easy read, and you could really just read through it. It's a very good book to just have if you're traveling. Keep it in the car, keep it close. For me, I liked how he spoke about being a comprehensive man, because I think to the point of having power and vulnerability, it's situational. You know what I mean? And in doing both, you have to be authentic. You know what I mean? You don't want to fake power. And you have no business faking vulnerability either.
You get exposed if you fake power.
Exactly. You really do have to be authentic. And I think that's one of the things that he truly accomplishes with this book.
Word. Okay, I got
you know what I mean? To like, you can basically just borrow the book.
Word.
Like,
just y'all seen it. It's gone.
My copy belonged to him. So you got to get your own copy.
It's about time. I got to check it out, man.
He really kind of breaks it down how to be authentic in your power, authentic in your vulnerability. And him, he's a martial artist, like accomplished martial artist. So like he has the power. You know what I'm saying?
He'll flip your ass, man.
Like,
you
know it's not a joke.
And he's training his sons to flip your ass. If you get out of line and he ain't got enough energy, because we all getting older. Son gonna come through like, nah, B. Shout out to the youngin' too, man. I don't know his name, but I want to make sure we highlighted that before we moved on, bro. I got a few more. How good do you think we are with time? How long do you think we need left? Because I got like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and I see that these is rolling. This is a good episode.
Let's roll them.
All right, let's get it.
We off top, so let's just get it.
Off top, man. Let's see. Have you ever faced a period of self-doubt or uncertainty, and how did you overcome it while preserving your mental health? So have you ever faced a period of self-doubt or uncertainty? Like, I ain't gonna speak longer for myself. I'll go first because it's real quick. I've been talking about on this podcast some of the most hardest times, and for me, that it was just basically recently, as of recent. The uncertainty was really eating me alive.
Right.
And I can tell you that even in this time right now, it tries to come back. It will always try to come back. Even when you get to a point where you're like, I got it, I'm good. That little monkey, that little devil will keep crawling back.
Yeah.
That itch will keep forming in the middle of your back is what I'm saying. like for real. Like, and I just want to be transparent about that, bro. Like, I'm noticing the pattern that kind of uncertainty of my life in my direction must be my devil, because I've had more sparring rounds with that particular thing. You know, so I'm learning that it's not nothing you defeat.
I agree.
It's an opponent that you learn all of his techniques, so that when it does the left lean, you do the opposite. It's a song and dance that it's not something you can learn and be like, no, it's a song and dance. Just like if you know how to salsa or tango, when the salsa or tango beat come on, you go the direction. Now you in the pocket. You do anything else, you out the pocket. You know, and that's what I'm learning right now. That shit will keep coming back. So when it comes to self-doubt or a period of uncertainty, I'm learning that it's something you can't really defeat. You have to just know the movement of it. You know what I mean?
I like the question.
Word.
Because I feel like I've also kind of dealt with it this year.
Yeah.
And for me, it's funny, like, not letting uncertainty lead to self-doubt. Because I feel like the two of them easily get connected.
Yeah.
And that was an issue I was kind of having this year. Like, I would deal with uncertainty and, like, I'm doubting myself. And everything's going good. I'm confident in myself. I'm authentic. I'm good. I'm doing my disciplines.
Don't let uncertainty lead to self-doubt. Yo, I love when we do the podcast and the words be right there, because sometimes when you see that thing just playing like that, it make you be like, yo, that's more than what just hearing it. You got to see it. That's big, bro. Because you said they collude, kind of like
they easily feel connected when they're not.
don't let uncertainty lead to self-doubt, because it's okay to be uncertain and it's lifelike to be uncertain.
Because like that's
uncertainty is living,
bro. Because you don't want to think negative, you know what I'm saying? But you could leave here and slip and fall on some ice.
Nigga.
There's actually no ice outside, but hypothetically speaking.
I like those hypotheticals. They're so crazy we know it won't happen, like right now, at least today.
You know what I mean? Like,
because that's been fuck around to happen.
Right.
But no, I feel you on that.
That's the thing that I've really, that's been hitting me a lot this year.
That's the gem of the pie so far. Don't let uncertainty lead to self-doubt. It's like, don't let the fact that you don't know pull you into a realm of you not trusting that you'll find out. Man, that's because you're you.
Because it's like, to the conversation of discipline, that's why I fall off. That's why I end up falling off sometimes, and I'll be mad at myself about it. Because it's like I get to dealing with some uncertainty, and then I'll be like, okay. And I start slipping on stuff that I know I'm good for doing.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's not an ego thing, but it's like, bro, like I'm falling off. Not because I'm not capable, but because I started doubting myself. Why? Because uncertainty happened. When uncertainty has nothing to do with what I'm capable of.
Bro,
like
cooking.
As a man.
Bro, yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? No. Like I done worked in the trades, like these same hands, like I done took out like houses, bro.
But look at the dynamic.
You know what I'm saying?
Now add in the fact you black. Like, bro, like I feel you. I'm right with you. But that variable alone, it's like I add some more bullshit on top. That's what it's like. It's like, oh, your back is breaking. You got a 100-pound vest on.
Here's a little extra.
Here go a little thing that be hanging on the weight benches that you ain't know what the fuck it was until you started working out and find out that's an extra 10 pounds that you put on the rack. Here, hold that motherfucker. Like that's being black. It's like you holding like 3 more of them. Like it's on top of life's bullshit. But like, nah, that's a gem, bro.
That's what I've been dealing with this year. And it's like we at the end of the year and I'm looking back on things and it's like to the point it's like I don't try to be in like living in regret. You don't want to live in the past, but it's like you have to look back and learn some things.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like what did you really learn? And like that's one of the things that I had to learn that this year. Like I be falling off not because I'm not capable, but simply because I doubted myself because things don't seem clear.
Nah, bro.
Things seem like really
That's a word, bro. I doubt myself way too much.
Because it's like, bro, I be like
so much, bro.
And it's like, bro, I stopped doing what I know I can do because I'm not sure if what I'm doing is worth it.
Let me tell you this. I'm gonna be honest. I love telling the truth, even when it be bad truths for me. I do this because I want accountability. Next time you see me, I want y'all to see me better knowing I said this shit. That's what I kind of trick myself into realities like that.
That's real.
I do that shit often.
That's real.
But fam, like I doubt myself naturally by default. Unfortunately, I naturally by default doubt myself, and the whole rhythm of my life has been me doubting myself and fuck around and found out that I was adequate or super exceeded what I was doubting myself about. This has been the pattern. That's why I know, okay, go back to the early ego shit. This is why I felt myself, because it's like I could do like, and everybody like, whoa, and I'm like this. I don't know how I'm doing that. I don't think I could do it again. Whoa, like that's what it felt like. It felt like I could just conjure up shit that people would attract to, and yet I still doubt myself in conjuring up the shit that I want. You know what I mean? Like to this day, and this is just me being honest. It's not like I'm out here just fumbling around and like that. It's a level of confidence I have, but I can tell you that naturally, it's not natural for me to be like, I want this and it's done. That's not my natural thought process. My natural thought process is I want that. And then immediately it'd be like, it would be nice to have that. So that lets me know something inside me immediately don't feel worthy 100% that I can just have what I want. It's something that be like, I want that, but that would be nice to have. That shit all the way over there. Some people aren't like that. Some people are, I want that. I see that. It exists. I'm about to walk towards it. And then there's no more words until they get up on it. Bing. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
some people are like, my wife is like that. That's why, man, we gotta have that episode about like relationship balance and the woman perspective. Nigga, that shit has been gold in my life. For all the black men out there, the single brothers out there, listen, man, if you struggling with your life or just kind of be having a little bit of, uncertainties, not say just go get a chick, a woman who can challenge you, who don't need you, is the woman that could peer the most gems out of you. They could probably like bring out the gems out of the balance.
Yeah.
My wife does that though. She does. She shows me more times that I could do something she know I can do before I even know.
And that's the interesting thing, because it's like, and I think it's a compliment to your wife, because it's something that I've kind of realized as well. But it's like sometimes you're doubting yourself on something you're actually overqualified for.
Yeah. Yes.
And like, yo, girl, she been doing hair since,
Right.
You know what I'm saying? She never has a reason to doubt. You know what I'm saying?
She like my formula works.
She's overqualified.
Right.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like to the point of like basketball players and like LeBron and stuff like that, and 20 years of experience.
You can't tell that man nothing.
You know what I'm saying? Like you have more experience than coaches. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Owners and stuff.
You're playing against teams coached by people you played against.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like, in a way, you get overqualified, whether you win or lose.
Right.
Overqualified is overqualified.
Yeah.
And that's something I've had to experience. Like, I've doubted myself about stuff that I'm actually overqualified for. And I'll be mad, like, bro, like, why would you even
message?
But I also think, in a way, it's a way to check my ego. It's a twisted way to keep my ego in check.
We just out here taking everything, nigga. Basically, what it's saying.
Yeah, it in a weird way, it keeps my ego in check, because I've told people, like, I have enough pride for myself and 13 other people.
Right.
Like, I've literally said this to people before, and it's like, I think it's a weird way that like keeps my ego in check, to not just be, I'm the best ever. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like, to just be
that
on
might
that.
It might be a human thing.
And
what different?
I think it's a balance thing,
What makes
man.
it different is the amounts on what side. Some people are heavy 80-20, nigga.
And it's like,
some people like 60-40, some people 50-50, some people are, nigga, 10-90, nigga. Like,
and it's like, I would rather my 90 be humility and my 10% be ego than the 90% be ego and 10%. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'd rather err on the side of humility than err on the side of ego.
That's just smart. That's just smart in itself, for you to know that side, because some people are so narcissistic.
It's crazy.
That side don't exist.
Oof.
And that's what I'm saying. You even know the danger of that room. Certain people that became CEOs that just be jumping off the motherfucking roofs and shit. Some of them never knew the other room. You know what I mean? But let's keep it moving. Let's see. Can you discuss the role of self-expression in your mental well-being and how your creative outlets serve as a form of therapeutic release? Can you discuss the role of self-expression, whatever you do? Can you discuss that in your mental well-being and how creative outlets serve as a form? This music shit, it's therapeutic for me, because I'm just going to do it regardless. I'm to a point now where I'm going to do music, and I'm going to make some music. I'm going to make some rhymes. I'm going to sing a song. I'm going to record it. I'm going to come up with concepts. I'm going to put cadences together. I'm going to do this shit until I die for free. If somebody want to pay me in between, cool. But for me, that's what it is. And this pod and shit is doing a lot. When we put it out, when y'all finally get this, like now, y'all commenting, y'all sharing, all of that shit does a lot for my therapeutic kind of release, because it lets me know that I'm interacting with those around me, experiencing the same experience that I'm experiencing. And I think that connectivity is the number one thing. So that's like the number one thing that's been like, I've been using it for my creative outlet between music and just expression, man. I need that shit. What about you? What do you think?
Well, for me, it's just, at this point, I've done so much, and I'll just speak to where I'm at now. For me, it's fun to just take on stuff that just pulls me outside of my comfort zone.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's not just, okay, I want to create stuff. Now it's like, okay, what can I create that'll make me have to be a better person? You know what I mean? What can I create where I'll have to go gain some skills to actually do it? You know what I'm saying? And to the point of just self-expression. I like how with projects you can separate yourself, and you can, in a way, isolate yourself. And it's a way to, because with expressing yourself, it comes down to what do you want to express, right? And what do you want to show the world about yourself? Yeah, you know what I'm saying? What do I want to present? What I want people to remember? Like when I think of people. When people think of me, what do I want them to think? You know what I'm saying? With these projects,
for me, it's hues. Like it's a different hue.
It's a different variation of you.
Certain projects is dark green or black. Some are blue and inviting blue. And I think no matter what the name is, the context, the lyrics in between, for me, it all becomes a hue. And it's certain kind of levels of light that I want to push off when I do music. Lately, I've been like, this is gonna sound weird as hell, but lately I've been on like an Auburn, Auburn and a. Type of like Auburn with the gum bottom kind of back and forth kind of vibe. I've been real like chill, melodic, and that therapeutic process has been great. I still want to do something during this little break that we got here. I still want to come up with like a 5-song joint, just put it out there. And now with people like Andre 3000 putting out flute albums and shit like that, It kind of makes me be like, yo, do what is inside of your soul because you can. And if you got people that love you, do and create what is inside of your soul so that those other people that love you can stumble upon it and learn more about you. Yeah. That is truly, in essence, the power we have now. You don't got to be a superstar. I don't got to be on billboards and top 5 picks. And I don't have to do none of that because if I pour my heart into my music, and Lord forbid something happened to me, but my heart was in my music, then my son and my daughter and the people that love me get to have pieces of my heart in real time as much as they want. Yeah. That power in itself, now I understand why hip-hop is the most targeted genre. It's a certain power that we just tap into that's too influential and too infectious, like that can't be denied. It's a certain frequency that we tapping into, man. And I don't want to go too deep, but like, for real, bro. For real. For real.
I mean, off the top, I kind of want to get into it. Yeah, we're gonna get into it.
What you thinking?
To me, what makes hip hop so special? 50 years. 50 years, and why? I won't even speak about it from the standpoint of the black community or of us being black men, right? But I feel like why everybody feels drawn to it or pulled to it, because I feel like hip hop is like the ultimate underdog story, because it's written and produced and performed by people that are from underdog type situations. You know what I mean? When you talking about people going from selling drugs on the streets,
resilience.
You know what I'm saying? Coming from the worst circumstances, the worst scenarios, the type of scenarios where you end up dead or in jail.
From the bottom to the top.
You know what I'm saying?
That's the concept. The concept of hip hop is mainly, I don't come from nothing.
From nothing.
Now look at what I got.
Everything.
Back then, they didn't want me.
Now I'm hot.
They all on me. You know what I mean?
That's the ultimate just power of hip hop, and everybody can relate to the underdog story. There's people
even the people that don't deserve or can't relate wish they could relate.
They wish they could.
It's a level of resiliency that you tap into on your own that even rich people wish they had. You know how many suburban kids be getting caught out by their mom and dad, like that be wanting to rap and shit? Michael Irvin, was it Michael Irvin? One of the football niggas, I don't like football like that much. One of the football niggas on TV, his son is a rapper, and this nigga was the man though. Like he bred, of course. Like I think it's Michael Irvin. I think it is, but nigga, he called his son out like, you rapping about coming from the trenches, and no, you did not. Like, you came up with a good life. Even people with good lives be wanting and wishing that they came from the bottom, wishing that they was the rose that grew from the concrete.
Everybody wants to be the underdog story. Nobody wants to be the favorite story.
Is it because of the conquering of
because they know there's a certain authenticity to it. there's a certain
true to myself, so much so that I won in the end.
There's a certain character that you get from having to build this from scratch.
Yeah, it is.
Getting this out, you develop a certain character because it takes a certain caliber of person to do so. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, just had to say that about hip hop. Love hip hop.
S. Dot, you in there? Oh man, he good. You good, bro? You ain't gotta walk around like you on eggshells. You straight, man.
Yeah, you good.
No, we got. I think I'll read a couple more. We can see what we want to do. The next one I got was, as a creative, how do you manage the intersection of personal identity and artistic persona, and how has this dynamic affected your mental health? As a creative, how do you manage the intersection of personal identity and artistic persona? So like you was talking about how you can isolate yourself, how you can how do you manage being able to be that person on top of the person you need in society to like just be the avatar that you send out in the world? Is it one serves the other?
I think it's discipline. One kind of does serve the other because there isn't one without the other, right? Because the artistic side of me is a clown. The artistic side of me is we gonna have a good time.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. There's everything is a green light.
See, I was thinking,
you know,
I don't think it's a big difference for me. I feel like I am the person that I create.
Yeah.
When I'm doing the stuff that I do, I feel like I'm that just without rhythm. If there's no beat, then it's Miles from the verse. Just he ain't end up rhyming every 2 bars or bar. So, you know what I mean? I really don't feel. For me, I don't feel no difference. The content that I'm gonna talk about, I love rap because rap is just a stream of consciousness. So we could be talking within 12 seconds. I could be talking about where I'm from, the bitch I got, the car I got, and how I'm colder than your whole crew. I could talk. So basically, you can go left, right, down, up, 30 degrees north, 30 degrees west. Like you can do that so freely in rap. That's just, I feel the same. You know what I mean? When it comes down to it now. When it comes to the intersection of personal identity and artistic persona, my artistic persona is based and drenched heavily, I mean, in my personal identity. So like, for me, there's not much of a duality. If you know me, you know that the shit you heard me on the hook could easily have came up from me doing some shit around the crib.
right.
And you know that, like, in your mind, you can be like, yo, you need to keep that. And I thought that too. And next time you hear something, it be that shit you heard. Like, I'm literally that. So for me,
it's a little bit more of a gap, just because like outside of music, I'm more business.
Yeah, but you play instrument too. That's different.
Exactly. So when it comes down to music is more of a pleasure.
Instruments.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Music is more of an escape, more of a pleasure, more of a fun thing. Whereas outside of music, it's more business.
Music has been me telling on myself. You see what I mean? No, like,
yeah.
it was because of the, you know, where I'm from in the time frame that I respond to this bitch. I thought I had to rap.
Right.
You know, to be cool, you gotta first try to rap, and then you gotta be like, all right, if you can rap, you gotta rap. Show motherfuckers you can rap. So I learned how to do that first. That was my generation's way of like speaking and expressing themselves. So like, I learned how to do that shit first, and after I got that in the bag, everything else was just like nigga freestyling. Like, I'm doing that. I do this shit. Like,
yeah.
For me, that's what it was. And I think you're right. Like I said, the gap. I think the gap for you comes, like I said, if you were saying shit though, you would create patterns, different. And you would be like, yo, that's Tyler. You know what I mean? The pattern. But different. when you play multiple instruments, whether it be piano, whether it be the guitar, whether it be the bass, like you can kind of. Yeah, you can separate a whole vibe.
Yeah. I can kind of just get lost in a world versus like outside of music, it's business. When he's
the example of you not having a good day but having to do a set.
Yeah,
and these motherfuckers is they off you. They don't even know you over here like I can't believe this.
I forgot to pay this bill. I got this late fee. Like
so like because I done seen y'all. You know what I'm saying, performing and I've been around y'all enough to know. Certain days when they was hype about it, and certain days where they got to knock this shit out, and then tomorrow they got to get right into that. Like, it's a different thing when you know the artist, though. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They really love that shit. That's why I just respect artists, especially like y'all, so much because y'all got that shit on the string. I love anybody who got anything on the string. If I can yo-yo and shit, and they just give you some bars though, but I'm yo-yoing. You like, yo, the bars is amazing. This nigga is yo-yoing.
Right.
He got them bars on a string like the yo-yo. I just love when people can do that.
Mm-hmm.
When you get on stage and your ass be in that zone with that shit, nigga, or this nigga done been behind me playing piano. He done been behind me playing bass. He done been behind me doing some shit. And I just be like, that shit is amazing. Because I know this nigga can be thinking about chocolate.
Right.
And I'm like, yo, that's what make people cold. When you got something on a fucking string. Like, imagine Beyonce was just sitting next to you, sitting on her stomach. And I'm making a visual. Sitting on her stomach like this, her toes up in the back, just sitting on the bed like a teen girl.
Mm-hmm.
I know that kind of went crazy, but follow me. It ain't like that. And then while she was just looking at you, what if she had a crush on you so much so that she should start freestyle singing how much she love you? Imagine you like you still you. You still Beyonce. And what if she got up and just freestyled a dance in front of you? So yeah, it's getting a little freaky in here, but but nah, I'm just saying, man. Like when you think about anybody who got on the string, just like imagine if LeBron was like, all right, nigga, I love basketball. One thing I would do when I got in the zone sometimes, and just imagine it's on a higher scale with LeBron. What if LeBron, you playing basketball, and he was like, you know what? I'm about to kill you all game. And as I kill you all game, I'm going to tell you everything I'm about to do the entire game, the entire time, every single second. So, like, you know, what if he was like, he got basketball on the string so much, he can do all of that so well, just like a boxer. What if he was like, you about to try to hit me? I'm about to watch your ass. Yep, weak ass left. Now I'm about to hit you with the right 3 times. Bop, bop, bop. Like, if he did that, if Floyd did that, you'll be like, this motherfucker. Because that's what's really going on upstairs with them.
Yeah.
Tom
Brady.
Tom
Brady was one.
What if he was talking to the coach like he about to do this, but watch how I just you wanted me to do that, but I'm gonna do this though, and you just like, damn, he got that bitch on a string. Dog.
Yeah, he's got control.
I just love that shit.
It's crazy.
I love that shit, man.
Yeah, man.
Hey, the Beyonce thing got kind of weird. Like she on her bed, I had the visual and all that shit.
I mean, it's weird.
I can see her though.
It's weird for certain people.
It's my fantasy, nigga.
It's weird for certain people. But
shout out to B, shout out to Jay, man. Y'all
yeah,
know
man.
This, bro. I mean, you got to be used to it now. Everybody wants your wife. Jay-Z, Sean.
Hey, man, hold on, man. We got to give Beyonce her flowers, bro.
Yo, word.
This woman has had the career of careers, nigga. Like, she has had the career of careers.
Beehive.
Like, take the music out of the equation.
Yeah.
The choices in her career that she's made, bro. And where she's at now. Like, to do a tour and then to basically make a movie from the tour.
I got a unique perspective about Beyonce. I don't know if it's favorable. The Beehive don't need to come for me, but I think Beyonce is one of the greatest performers of all time.
Mm-hmm.
I got to put that out there. Her ascension is just interesting to me because she's not the best vocalist ever. Beyonce's amazing. There are a lot of amazing people on earth, though. Beyonce doesn't look unique to me at all. I think that there's women in every hood, in every population of black people that are as fine as Beyonce with her attributes and all of that. I don't think she's dumb thick. I don't think she's super fit. Like, I'm just saying she doesn't have any unicornish type of
I get that.
attributes to her. You know what I mean? And so what I deduce it down to is I'm thinking like it's gotta be her commitment to movement. In my mind, it's the movement that she has attached to everything else that she got. And when I say this about Beyonce, it's me being analytical about the artist. You know what I mean? Honestly. So don't take it like he might have some shit back. No. She's amazing. Like Michael Jackson, guy, Beyonce, girl of earth type stuff. You know what I mean? Like for real. I know that. But I'm just not a fan of a lot of the music.
Are you thinking movement as in
like it's like more for girls and shit like for me? But you know,
are you thinking like movement as in like choreography?
Yes,
or?
I'm talking about like her movement, her commitment to movement, and how she attaches movement to everything else that we just talked about. Like I said, she's not the most unique looking black woman in the world. She looks, like I said, like a sister that's from, man, bro.
Well,
you know, she don't like Rihanna is considered like
she looks different
because she is the exotic kind of like island kind of like you can see how she sound. What I'm saying is, Beyonce doesn't have those immediate attributes without hearing her that we like she don't really have that, but she's fine as shit, of course.
I think it's the combination.
Yeah.
Like that recipe.
Like the way she moves though, for me, is like, yo.
And then her music is appropriate for.
Cause I don't even,
bro,
I don't even think of Beyonce like how I think of like the way. When I say the way, let me think. Let me see. The way I say it, like how Sierra moves. When Sierra moves, or no, Janet Jackson. How Janet Jackson moves. When Janet Jackson moves, it made me want to touch her. The more she moved, it made me be like, But Beyonce, when she moved, you just kind of like this. Damn. In my mind, I'm like, she fucking moving. So for her to have gravitated so much attention from her movements, and it's not like overly sexual. Like she never does no freaky shit really. Beyonce just shows you what it is, and you can think about it if you want. But she wasn't conjuring that though. You know what I mean? Like Janet would conjure it up and give you that shit. So that maybe that's why I'm more connected. Like I just think about female powerful dancer. Tina Turner. She Beyonce. That's her OG. It's obvious, but she took it to a different level because if you watch Tina just moved around. She wasn't like bending and doing like elbow like Corey like the way that Beyonce moved. So Beyonce like just kind of embodied her.
That's an interesting
her
take.
shimmy and shit,
Yeah.
Like, but Tina Turner just basically showed us that we love an energetic black woman with some thunder thighs up there moving, nigga. We love that shit. And if she's powerful, we love that too. You know what I mean? So like, yeah, I don't want the Beehive to think that I'm just analytically critiquing the shit out of her ascension compared to those others that have had similar kind of trajectory. Like I said, Janet
Jackson is an interesting comparison. That's quite the comparison.
She didn't have the pipes as Beyonce at all.
Right.
But everything else, I would say she probably had. Let me see.
Star power too.
The songs were more a little bit soulful, but she did turn into pop. She went into this whole thing, though. So like, the star power. But that's why I'm saying movement. It's Beyonce's commitment to movement. Who else? We got to think of something. We can't just say Janet Jackson. Tina Turner, Janet Jackson. Who's superstar, singing. You know what I mean? Like Mariah Carey, but she didn't move. She can't move. You know what I'm saying? Everything else is dynamic, brand wise, all that. She had the soul joints, she had the pop joints. We got to think at least one or two. You know what I'm saying? Aaliyah, but Aaliyah didn't have the pipes. But without Aaliyah, there is no Beyonce. I don't care what nobody say, bro.
That's even hard to go down that route.
There's no Beyonces, there's no Ashantis, there's no Sierras, there's no soft singing woman who isn't excellent at vocals that just kind of move a little bit. There's none of that because, like, even I ain't gonna lie though, Aaliyah could dance, but she wasn't amazing.
Yeah,
we just liked her.
Yeah,
and Beyonce is her movement. If we was watching the performance and we muted the music in the back and then we hit another button to make everybody look like a silhouette, Beyonce's movement would stand out. Just like if we did that with basketball, you would know that's Kobe, how he faded away if it was all black.
Right.
If you know that was Jordan, the way he dunked the ball, you could the way it's lit. The silhouette. So what I'm saying is the movement. If we blacked her out and Beyonce was in a room full of people and they was all doing some shit, we would still kind of hone into that figure right there. And that's the special part about it. You know what I mean? To me, you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying. Like it has to be her commitment and her unique movements because
that's an interesting
Beyonce
perspective.
Be fucking moving, nigga.
And it's in them heels, bro. Like it's always been that way. And she has the music for it. Like her music is high energy and her
it make you think like how you got so many songs you can move so much to.
Yeah, that's really interesting. Yeah. Because like that, you're not dancing to music that isn't dance music. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like that's
she got people dancing to "You Won't Break My Soul," like
straight house music. Yeah,
man, I love that shit. Though. I ain't gonna lie that I used to didn't like Beyonce for a big pocket of her music because it was so female based. Yeah, and that's no shade. It's just like I'm not.
It's like
I'm not in the house
artist,
missing
like,
no nigga or thinking about like
yeah
I'm better than her. I don't think like that. Like I'm sorry, you know what I mean. So that's just like that. But then once like I always love songs like Me, Myself, and I, like shit like that from female artists. Something that's just kind of more intuitive that I can apply. I can be a guy, I can be a girl. That's what kind of make, you know. But when everything kind of panders to
women
or the LGBTQ, because they love Beyonce. They all typically love Beyonce. So you got LGBT community, and then you got black women all on a lock like that. That's basically Beyonce. You know what I mean? And then she got remnants of the niggas and the men in the industry because of course, she bad as hell, and she's Beyonce. Before she was this big ass entity, she was something we was lusting on anyway. Like,
right.
So she still got, you know,
a
nigga who don't listen to Beyonce, they be like, you fuck with Beyonce? Nigga, I'm like, yeah.
Right.
You know what I mean? He like, no, because I don't listen to her.
Right.
Nah, I don't listen to her, but I fuck with Beyonce. It's how it's gonna be. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Let's see.
Yeah.
All right, I think we got probably good enough for one more. Let me see. Out of these three. Oh no, it's two more actually. Let's do this one. Last one. Let's leave on this one. As a black man, how do you balance the need for vulnerability with the societal expectations of strength? And how does that dynamic influence your mental health journey? So how do you balance the need for vulnerability with what society sees it? Society sees with black men, so society sees us as strong, powerful all the time, and you know, we kind of spoke a little bit on this before, but I think you can infinitely speak about vulnerability though. You can always expound in different directions.
Not to answer a question with a question, but do you feel like vulnerability has to be earned?
No, I think it's taught.
Huh.
I think it's taught at the earliest ages because I feel like I'm a more vulnerable black man. I know how to be vulnerable, and I know how to articulate my vulnerability. I've always been like that, but then I think to myself, how could I have always been like that? And I just think about the people that raised me. They gave me space to be vulnerable.
Mm-hmm.
So we talked about how I felt, and that allows me to grow and become that kind of person who's cool in that pocket. You know what I mean?
Right.
Some people didn't get the chance to be vulnerable, so they can't really articulate it, nor can they show it. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
So for me, like the balance for the need of vulnerability within societal expectations. Right now, of course, we've talked about this before. It's coming up. It's becoming more of a priority now because it's more popularized and it's more sought out, and we got more instances to see, like how much it's needed though. Like it doesn't do any damage. It does zero damage when you're vulnerable about anything that you're saying or doing. It does zero damage. It will always only add. You know what I mean? So for something that has a dynamic like that, it's worth exploring. And I'm just happy that like now in this day and age, people say therapy, but people really be pushing like really going now. You know what I'm saying? And
right.
I still haven't. Like I've tried a little bit, but I haven't still. I'm still searching myself. So I'm not talking from a perch. But I understand now, and the more I hear it outside, the more it make me be like, all right, I need to focus my attention in that direction. So my intent is to go in that direction.
For me, I have to just be honest. Like, I come from the suck it up culture.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So I guess back in the day, I leaned more towards the strength side of things.
Mm-hmm.
And vulnerability for me was something, someone had to earn that.
From you?
Yeah. It wasn't just something I would just hand over on a silver platter.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like that, it was something that had to be earned. Like,
so what is it inside of it that you have to protect then?
Inside of vulnerability?
Because I'd tell a stranger everything. I'm like that. I've heard it back though, and that's what allows me to be like that. So to know that you would be like, you don't just deserve that, it makes me be like, what are you protecting?
I think it's myself, because it was trust issues that I had.
Mm-hmm.
I used to not necessarily be a very trusting person, but the people I trust.
Do you have flashes from your past, your childhood, where you were taken advantage of? Where like looking back, like, damn, I used to let them just kind of get it off on me. You know what I mean? If you had those kind of instances, that would make sense as well. Even more, I've been more vulnerable. I trusted too much. I came from the country. It was just me and my siblings, and then maybe my family members, and then the people around was all around. Like, you couldn't go nowhere without the neighbors already calling your grandma, telling your grandma that, yeah, he down there in this cornfield, and he blah, blah, blah. Like, I literally come from that shit. So, like, when I moved into the city, I found out that niggas that say something they don't really mean just so this can happen for them later on. Like, whoa. Like, niggas, they think about the future like that? Like, How did they know I was about to get it? And how did they tell me if I got it to give it to them before I even knew that I shouldn't have did that? You know what I mean? Like I had to learn that shit because I gave blindly. So like that's why I was saying it's just more like whatever's given to you or early, the space to have it or something like that, because I had to learn to reel it back. And to this day, I still might have issues with that. Like, you know,
I had to learn to give it, but with trust issues, I wasn't so quick to just give it to everybody.
Right.
Yeah.
I wasn't afraid, because if I feel like you can't. If I tell you all my truths, you can't harm me. No, you can't harm me now. Nothing I can tell you, you can use as a weapon. And if I'm telling you the truth, you can take that how you want. Nothing feels better than walking away from somebody knowing like I don't. But when you give somebody something and you feel fearful about it, like from them walking away with it, to me that's like more troubling, because it's like, damn, then why? That's not really sharing. That's not a whole heart give. That's you got to have a bounds around it. Don't give it to nobody. You know what I mean? Like, damn, how you know that motherfucker won't just do that? I'd rather give it if I know I can lose it. You know what I'm saying?
Or not sure if you're giving it to the right person.
Right. Understood, because, you know, people are manipulators though, bro.
Yeah, that was it for me. Not sure if I was giving it to the right person, but I'm definitely a lot more vulnerable now.
You might have been exposed to that shit earlier, because those kind of people in the world, they weren't around me early. I was isolated like a mug though. And it's about where you come up though. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
a lot of my friends from the city and shit like that, they already knew, like, what you tell him your locker combination for? What you, like, I ain't do that, but I'm just saying certain stuff that's like, you should never do that. Or why you leave your car unlocked? Right. I just told you everything got stolen. You should be sad. They're like, first of all, why you leave a car? Let you know that y'all from two different spots. Mm-hmm. For them to land there immediately means that they are aware of a certain kind of, you know, thing or energy around that you just happen to be ignorant about. You know what I'm saying? They, first of all, why the fuck would you even? Yeah, that's gonna happen. You know what I mean? So but that's all we really got, man. I don't really got much more. You got anything else, dog?
That's all I got, man.
Episode 6, man. Off top, it's your boy 100 Miles. Tesla in the building, you know what I'm saying? We can do our thing, that we get up out of here, man. You know what I mean? We want to make sure that y'all like and subscribe. Keep this shit going, man. If you liking the show, you liking the content that we speaking on, or anything like that, it always helps us when we share something, or you kind of just put it on your timeline and get your algorithm to intertwine with ours and get the ticking and talking and back and forth and everything like that. That'll be dope. So. We appreciate y'all. Once again, shout out to Johan Hari, Stolen Focus, Mr. Jason Wilson, Battle Cry, man. We can be putting their names in the captions. Yeah. Who knows? You know what I mean? They might be like, yo, they said something in there. We like, you know what I mean? Yeah. Come up here and talk to us, because we definitely would. Mr. Wilson, we would definitely drive up to you. For sure. We'd come to the gym, we'd come to the spot, and we'd hook it up. You know what I mean? We would love to have you being a part of the Off Time Pod. But from here, what? You understand it's all planning as a man, I can't get in. Nevertheless, I'm going on and on. I've been thinking, yes, I understand it's all planning as a man, I can't get in. Nevertheless, I'm going on and on. I've been thinking maybe I deserve it. Maybe I do. I deserve it. Maybe I do. Maybe I've been